What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. Today I want to talk about how shameful the POCs are. Not all of them, but how shameful they are as a group of different groups when it comes to their relationship with black people and white people. I've come to the conclusion that POCs sit in this zone of shame, right, and mental illness and what do you call insecurity that African Americans have to deal with, on top of all the other things we have to deal with. Not just African Americans, but African people in general. Let me explain. POCs, right? For instance, Indian people. Let's talk about Indian people. And it's a shame, right? Because Indian people, for all intensive and natural purposes, should be our next ally, right? They're basically us, right? They're basically us, just a little bit different, right? They still maintain a little bit of rhythm swag. They still kind of connect to the rhythm force a little bit. They dance, they celebrate, and they're very similar to their African originated cousins. They're everything they do, everything that's ancient and wonderful about India, which is ancient India, is dark brown, basically black India. All right, you know. And when I say black, people like to play around with words. Everybody knows when we say black, we don't mean the actual literal color black, right? Right? And if you want to continue the argument from a different perspective, anytime black is used, the color that's used underneath black or before black is always brown. All right? So that's like pretend like we don't know what black means when we say black, right? Right, but the thing is, Indian people who are, for all intents and purposes, our complexion darker than us, for the most part, not the ones you see on TV. Those are those white loving Indians, right? But the thing is, their society and their whole culture, right? If I were to fly to India for vacation, I'm pretty sure, I'm about 100% sure, I'm going to experience some sort of discrimination and racism. I'm going to experience curiosity, right? And then I'm also going to experience racism, right? Because Indian people, just like African people, just like European people, just like Asian people. Notice I always separate Indian and Asians, even though they're technically Asian, but they're different, right? Notice how when we go to their places, like if we go to India, anybody goes to India, I guarantee I'm gonna experience racism. Right? Because one half is going to be enamored with my culture because they consume my culture and they copy my culture and they try to be a part of my culture, right? On the other hand, I'm going to get the racists, right, who are either jealous of my black male dominant masculinity, jealous of the attention we get as black men, jealous of their women being interested in us. Either way, we got to deal with the men being jealous of the African man, right? Guaranteed, right? Right? Latinos, you go to Latin America, guaranteed as a black person, you're going to experience racism, right? By some self-hating native Indian who don't want to recognize his actual heritage, or some self-hating Latino who thinks he's from Spain, right? Here's the funny thing. When I went to Spain, right, and those Latinos, me and the Latinos, we were in Spain and we were communing, I noticed how much disrespect and disdain European Spaniards have for Latinos who have the nerve to be speaking their language and to be speaking their language and practicing their culture and calling themselves Latino or Spanish. They hate that shit. Them Spaniards hate Latinos daring to connect themselves with them because they are white conquistadors who speak a Latin European language of Latin Spanish, which Spanish is a white European language, okay? White European language. If you're proud to speak Spanish, you're proud to speak another white European language on top of English, which is a white European language, period. All right. But you go to Latin America, you're going to experience intrigue and interest, right? Because you're black. People are jealous of us and they're also enamored with us. Jealousy and hate is usually mental illness. Is on the spectrum of envy, it's like they like fanatics. You know what I'm saying? If you notice the biggest haters are usually the biggest fans. Like for instance, here's an example. Brandon, right? He's Tariq Nasheed's biggest fan. but he also hates on them the most. Out of anybody on YouTube, Brandon, Tariq Nasheed's biggest fan, right? Even though his commentary towards him is toxic, you know, he still watches his shows all the time because he always knows what he's doing, right? His biggest fan, right? And biggest supporter and advertiser is Brandon, right? So you can be a hater and also be an admirer too. Like, he admires the accomplishments of Tariq Nasheed, wishes he could be, you know, like Tariq Nasheed. Can't be like Tariq Nasheed, so he hates on Tariq Nasheed because he admires where Tariq Nasheed is and believes he should be there, right? Same thing with Indians, right? How they do us. We've never done anything to Indians. Keep in mind, we didn't enslave Indians. I mean, okay, so a long time ago, Africans did dominate India. We did participate in Indian politics and war, but that was like in ancient time. We're talking about, we have never, as a group of people, done anything to Indians, but yet Indians somehow have the nerve to be racist towards us, no matter where we are in the world. Indians are so arrogant with their racism, they will come to Africa because they see opportunity in Africa, right? Because where they're from in India, they don't see opportunity. They have to come to Africa, right, and seek opportunity. Even within the African continent, they have the nerve and the gall to be racist. That is a mental illness. They actually think they are better than Africans, even though they come from Africans, and everything ancient about India is inspired and built by the ancient Africans that left and went to India. The black people, the ones that are still there, right? Asian people, same thing, right? Except for Japanese. We don't include Japanese people, right? We love Japanese people. Everybody else, right? The nerve of these Asian people, right, to be racist towards black people while also consuming our culture, right, vehemently. I mean, they consume our culture probably more than anybody other group, right? They want to be around us. They watch us. We are their entertainment. We are their pastime. This is, we live rent free in these people's brain, in their brains, right? But somehow they manage to feel like they are better than us. And keep in mind now, they have all been oppressed by the European. All of them in their societies, this country, especially India. India is, you got Native Americans, right? African Americans, right? So Native Americans got it the worst. No, Tasmanians got it the worst because they don't even exist again, right? They're gone. And who knows what other groups of people these Europeans in their world colonizing spree, how many people they offed altogether that we don't even know about, right? But we know the Tasmanians extinct due to Europeans, right? So they got it the worst. Native Americans, damn near extinct. The whole Western Hemisphere, damn near extinct, right? And those people call themselves Latinos or Native Americans mixed with Europeans, mixed with Africans, right? Those people. So after all the shit, the history of how vicious, how violent, how barbaric, archaic, how savage these Europeans have been to them on purpose, even with all their technology, all their advanced, you know, even though all this stuff that they take advanced technology and they continue their barbaric culture and practices in their own countries to this day, right? Disrespect them systematically on the internet, on TV, openly. Yet, Latinos got the nerve to make us their opposition and have something smoke to say to us, right? Because the white man will tell them, because they are working for slave labor, because they work for pennies on the dollar, that they are hard workers, because they don't take days off. They work like machines. They work 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Those are what white people call hard workers, all right? People who would do the dumb, nasty, dirty, disgusting, stupid, hard, dangerous jobs all day, every day, and not care about their own self-worth, self-being, self-anything. Those are what Europeans call hard workers. That's what a hard worker is. Someone who has respect and dignity for themselves and wants to seek higher employment or higher elevation in life. Those people are lazy, right? Now, so you got all these POCs who get systematically disrespected. Look at Ramaswamy, the Indian, right? He just got disrespected by Ann Coulter on live TV in front of millions of people. And just like a brown house Negro, he sat there and took it. No respect for himself, no respect for his Indian culture, no pride, nothing. The dude has zero ego inside of him at that moment when that white lady told him that, you know, I respect you, you're cool and all, but I won't vote for you simply because you're an Indian. Because this is a WASP society. Have you ever heard that term? WASP? WASP. White American WASP. What does that stand for? See, I done messed up my whole thing. I heard it last night. WASP. White American single person? WASP? White American straight person. No, white American straight person. WASP, that's their term. White American straight person. If you are not a white American straight person, a white American Christian man and his white American Christian counterpart, white woman, you are other, you are less than, you are not canon, and you are open to be disrespected. And you see all the POCs will sit there and watch these Europeans disrespect them systematically, right? Disrespect them in the media, disrespect them in their houses, disrespect them in their face, right? Because the white European has no respect for POCs. There's no danger in POCs except for the Chinese, because they see them as an economic rival. But they also see Africa as the ultimate economic rival. That's why they've been on a campaign to destroy us. But between China and us, they see us as economic rivals. They also see India kind of sort of as economic rivals too, right? As far as the governments. But as a whole, the only people Europeans respect is honestly African people. African people are the only people Europeans respect enough to fear and go total scorched earth on. Every tactic European has is to use the mentally ill, deranged POCs in their willingness to capitulate to whiteness. Because see, POCs, the way they see it is, well, shit, if we suck White Zaddy's eggplant, White Zaddy's gonna accept me, and all I have to do to be a part of the White Zaddy's auxiliary club, right? Not the main club. You get to be a part of like the D League, right? Of white supremacy. You get to be in the D League of white supremacy. All you have to do, right, is hate black people. Because Europeans need the numbers. They ain't got the numbers. They need more people to hate their arch enemy, which is Africans, black people. They need POCs to discriminate against black people. They need POCs to be on their side over black people, even though they are in fact the ones who have systematically destroyed the post-Christianity cultures of these places. They are the ones who went into India and destroyed India. They're the ones who went into China and destroyed China. They're the ones who went to Asia and destroyed Asia. They're the ones who raped your daughters and left a whole generations of mixed mulattoes within your countries, right, to be confused about who they are. They're the ones who drop nuclear bombs and put chemicals in, and they're the ones who send all Western trash and dump it in your Asian countries, in India and other Asian countries, so that your poor can pick through the trash like vagabonds. Think about it. All this Western recycling and this Western, they come and they collect our garbage and they do all these things. We don't even see where it goes. Little do we know, white people and their white corporations are packing up all their shit, putting it on ships, sending it to your Asian, your POC countries, and dumping literal American trash and shit and European American trash and shit into your countries for you to sort out. Yet POCs got the nerve to talk and act like they are so much better than Africans. They're so much above Africans. Like, white people care about them so much, and it's just us lowly Africans that's doing all this complaining and whining, and we lazy, even though, you know, we only built the most powerful country on the face of this earth for free. We only did that. We only invented all the cool shit that you're using right now to talk shit about us. All that shit. But those things go right over the top of the heads of POCs. Ungrateful people who would have zero success in the Western Hemisphere if it wasn't for the African people who they systematically disrespect just so they can get the butter biscuits from the white European. While the white European literally pisses on your butter biscuits and hands it back to you and laughs in your face. They literally sit around having conversations, looking at how weak, and they're on my how weak this Asian is for real, how weak this Indian is for real, how funny these clowns are disrespecting and fighting against our arch enemy. the African, the only people who they know for a fact, if we ever stand up, straighten up and fly right, that they can't compete with us on any level, as proven through society when us given the opportunity to be on the same playing field as the Europeans. See, I understand the European though. See, I understand their move. I understand what they're doing. It makes sense. When Europeans do it, that's their nature. That's what they do. I'm not even mad at them for doing what they do because they can't help themselves. But POCs, y'all supposed to know better, because the funny thing is, while y'all are sitting there then y'all try to attach our power, our influence that you secretly admire and now openly admire while also hating at the same time. I got some sort of weird POC mental judgment or something, like a middle daughter that's not the oldest and is not the baby youngest, so you just, you know, feel like you're a pariah of the human family and shit. You guys not only will hate on us for the approval of the European, right? But then when the European do something to you, you come running to us, the people you just hated on, to help your ass out in the fight. And expect us to help. And if we don't, you get mad. I swear, I sit back and I just be looking at all these, especially Indians. And white people love using Indians against black people. Look at UK. They waited to get their first Indian prime minister and made him do all the racist shit them white folks been wanting to do for years. So that way, his Indian face, his brown in his Indian self, who's darker than me, browner than me, his whole family made all their money off the African soil, right? If it wasn't for Africa, him and his family wouldn't have shit. They be selling fucking food on the side of the road in India somewhere. But no, Africa is what gave them their riches. Yet they put that guy up there, the one that Africa gave them their riches, and he's the one who's implementing, getting ready to get Africa out of the white man's land on their behalf. And guess what? As soon as he's done, them white people gonna get them Indians out their land too. That's the part they don't get. As soon as, see, the white man used the POCs who's naive, thinking that they're gonna get accepted, to help to bolster their numbers so they can fight against and disenfranchise the black African, right? Here's the thing, you POCs can't never beat us. We are not beatable, right? But yet you guys futilely continue to try. What's happening is, as Africa rises, as we continue to grow and strengthen and organize ourselves and reorientate ourselves, you know, economically around this world, you POCs who think you can straddle a line, right, who can play both sides, y'all gonna have to pick a side. And you know, like Africans, we like the great African elephant of our own land. We got long memories. We ain't never gonna forget. And one day when we standing up on our throne and you guys gotta come to our court, you're gonna have to come. Y'all gonna have to come to our court. And when y'all come to our court as Africans, asking for trade, asking for business opportunities, asking for a better place to live because the place you live is trash, huh? You're gonna have to come with a little bit more respect. And it's gonna be it's gonna be a new day. And I want you guys to know that you're setting your kids up. Because like I said, we're not gonna forget, we're gonna make sure our children understand how you work. Because we're gonna know how to deal with you POCs. You mentally ill POCs who, if you were smart, your biggest ally would be African Americans. You would that part that you're enamored by, that part that you love, that part that you imitate, that's the only part you should be doing. That hating, that weird shit that y'all do, that weird shit. See, we know white folks do that weird shit. We don't got a name for it. We yet to come up with a name for it. It's very unique to white people, but it's they shit. But we know that's them. That's their culture. That's not them being weird. That's just them. But you POCs, we know how you are for real. Because we know you faking, because you just trying to survive. You jump off the side of our neck. You see, we the ones who paved the road that you're driving on to success. Yet you don't pay homage to the road. Without that fucking road, your vehicle would go nowhere. You'll be stuck. And without us, let me tell you something. Without black people, without African Americans, without African people to hold these European Americans back from doing what they naturally would love to do if nobody was looking. Hell, if somebody was looking, they'd do it. If nobody was there to hold them accountable on a global humanistic scale, they would eliminate all of you. They will eliminate every single one of you Indian, you Latinos, you Asians. They're gonna disenfranchise and destroy all of you. That's what they're gonna do. If you help them defeat us, which you can't do, by the way, but hypothetically, if you did, you're next. Guaranteed, because you were next after us anyway. You forgot that. Y'all got short-term memories. But that's okay, because Africans, we gonna be okay. Because Europeans done did everything they possibly could to us. There's nothing they can do to us. They can keep trying. Yeah, they can keep killing a few of us. Right? And guess what? They're gonna get killed too. This shit ain't just free. They bleed just like we bleed. But guess what? There's more of us. And in the battle of attrition, we're gonna win. We beating everybody. And we know that. So, but I'm not trying to go to war or nothing, but I will. But I'd rather keep this on that economic tip. You know what I'm saying? But economically, nobody can mess with us either. Once we figure that out. So, all you POCs, your days is coming, straddling the line. That shit has an expiration date. And all you African and African Americans out there who, like me, have noticed that shit, don't worry. Fuck them. Fuck them. You know what I'm saying? When it's time for them to struggle solo dolo against the barbarian, let them do it. Let them hold their own nuts, as they say. Let them not be lazy, as they like to say. Let them be that model. Let them be that model citizen. Let's see them tackle the situation, since racism doesn't exist. Since institutionalized discrimination and racism doesn't exist. Let them deal with their own shit, make their own bed. And don't let them come over asking us for help, because we got other things that we got to do. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Tell me what you guys think about this in the comment section. This is Afro Think Tank. Learn something, teach something. I'm out.